Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of BTTH Rebirth of Emperor Yang episode number 24 based on novel. So let's start. In the distant sky, the fierce storm swept across the four directions, and a pure heaven and earth energy gathered down from a tornado like a pillar of the sky. At this moment, the dense and thick heaven and earth energy turned into a large pure energy liquid and poured into the shadow of the Taoist figure under the tornado. Such a vast landscape lasted for an hour, but the man under the tornado suddenly opened his eyes and looked down into the endless dark abyss. At this moment, there is an extremely terrible atmosphere, which is constantly gathering and climbing. It is so powerful and shaking the sky. Xiao Yan's slightly pale face also showed a deep and dignified color at the moment. At the moment, he has not recovered, but the two leaders of the three halls obviously had something that led to such a terrible breath. If he fought at this time, Xiao Yan may have no chance of winning. At present, this breath has become more and more powerful. Xiao Yan is afraid that it is too late to retreat. Since there is no retreat, the only way now is to fight here. That's what he thought. Xiao Yan also slowly stopped the burning Ju skill still running in his body. His whole body suddenly shook and his body flashed. He stood in the void again, adjusted his state to the best, and quietly waited for the emergence of the two people below. Boom! A burst bang came from the endless abyss below Xiao Yan. The already profound void was broken again under this sound. Immediately, Xiao Yan saw a large lacquer black fighting light column with a width of 100 feet. In an instant, he crossed the constraints of space and came to Xiao Yan, and a blow came at Xiao Yan fiercely. Xiao Yan could not help but look surprised. I'm afraid the rapid bombardment is the three-hall lord at the peak, which he can't do at all. What happened? It seems that the old ghost of the remaining poison hasn't come out yet, but why is the breath of the three-hall lord so powerful? The idea flashed in his heart, but Xiao Yan didn't want to pay attention to those. The attack in front of him was already in front of him. It was only a distance of Zhongshu from Xiao Yan. Tianjuabu, open. In a hurry, Xiao Yan was also swept out of his body. He moved at his feet and took the Tianjua step to the extreme in an instant. Without making any sound, the void space around Xiao Yan's body has been broken in an instant, and Xiao Yan's body shape has also disappeared in an instant, leaving a real shadow in place. Before the residual shadow disappeared, the startling blow suddenly hit the sky, and all the places past turned into a dead nothingness, which made people feel a burst of panic and hard to erase. Jia! Xiao Yan, you must be in my bag today. I also advise you to make self-cultivation as soon as possible and go with me to avoid suffering from this flesh and blood again. Above the sky, Xiao Yan's body just appeared, and there was no action yet. A few feet away from it, the figure of the three-hall lord wrapped in the black fog had been revealed, facing Xiao Yan from afar, smiling at the dignified Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan also saw the three-hall lord at the moment of lifting his eyes. His dignified face became extremely heavy at this moment. In fact, the strength of the three-hall lord at the moment has long been far higher than before, and the breath is strong. I'm afraid it has reached the middle stage of the 8-star-and-a-half emperor, and the strength is far higher than Xiao Yan. Coupled with Xiao Yan's state at the moment, it's impossible to escape from the three-hall lord. The only way out for Xiao Yan at the moment is to sacrifice his life for a war. His luck is okay, and there may be a glimmer of vitality. Otherwise, he will come to an end. Just in a flash, thousands of thoughts flashed in Xiao Yan's heart. There was a decisive color in his eyes when he looked at the three-hall lord. Today's war is not the death of the three-hall lord, that is the fall of his Yang emperor. He will go all out in this war. With your understanding of me, do you think I will accept my fate? The lord of the third hall could not help frowning when he heard the speech, but even if he stretched out again, Xiao Yan's mind was very clear. Then the implication of Xiao Yan's words was to start a war. Jie, you really deserve to be the Yang Emperor Xiao Yan. This courage is really beyond the reach of people. I think it's you who can still be as powerful as a rainbow before life and death. Needless to say, I think your breath at the moment is 8.5 stars. Yes, but there is another strong breath in your body, which is still resisting. If I guess correctly, that breath belongs to the old ghost of residual poison. For the endless words of the third hall lord, Xiao Yan hooked the corners of his mouth, raised a sneer and said coldly, "He, Emperor Yang is Emperor Yang. Our means are just like our understanding of you in front of you. There is no secret. But I've seen it a lot. You ghosts always like to steal souls. Jie, one day, you will understand that under the strong strength, all means are a way of survival. Before the words fell, the three-hall lord suddenly turned his hands across the air. His fierce black fighting spirit was like a sea tide. In an instant, he turned into a big hand in front of the three-hall lord, and one palm was roaring towards Xiao Yang. At the moment when the giant palm attacked, Xiao Yang's face had changed suddenly. The space around him was blocked by all the people at the moment when the giant palm attacked. Trying to avoid this blow was completely a fool's dream. Damn, it seems that we can only fight him head-on. Yellow spring palm. Dare not underestimate. Xiao Yang's mind moved. In the cyclone that still seemed empty in his body, a pure fighting spirit quickly moved to his palm along the skill route in Xiao Yang's body. With a violent drink, Huang Quan's palm was displayed by Xiao Yang, and turned into a flame palm of Lingtian in the wind. One palm pounded hard at the black palm of Lingtian. Jia, at the moment, you have little fighting spirit left in your body. How can you fight with me with such a powerless palm? Cloud Devil's palm, broken. With a low cry from the main mouth of the three halls, the huge Lingtian palm that had come to Xiao Yang suddenly spread a circle of thick black fog and collided with Xiao Yang's Huangquan palm. Click. A crisp sound came from the void, and the circle of black fog broke open, but a more terrible powerful qi came out. One blow was to break Xiao Yang's Huangquan palm in an instant. But even so, the momentum was still unabated, and rushed to Xiao Yang. When Xiao Yang saw this scene, his face suddenly became as if he could wring water out of the water, which seemed very dignified. Xiao Yang's momentum suddenly shook, and all the strange fires in his body poured out. He grasped them in the palm of his hand, and the endless strange fires turned into a large flame ruler out of thin air. Without hesitation, Xiao Yang held the flame giant ruler in one hand and closed it close to him. He held the ruler handle with both hands together. His arms moved suddenly. The gorgeous flame giant ruler circled around Xiao Yang's body rapidly. A strange fire barrier that looked like a real thing also appeared around Xiao Yang's body and protected Xiao Yang firmly. Liuhe swimming ruler. At the moment when the Liuhe swimming body ruler was just displayed, the strong energy also bombarded the different fire barrier. Boom. With a roar, Xiao Yang's horizontal and empty figure also couldn't help flying back thousands of feet. It was a little hard to stop his body. Even holding the giant foot's arm, he felt a sense of pain that he wanted to break his bone. Xiao Yang clenched his teeth and stared at the huge palm roaring towards him. His fighting spirit suddenly poured out, forcibly pressed down the pain on his arms, and waved the palm holding the huge ruler again. The huge ruler stood horizontally on Xiao Yang's side. His fighting spirit poured out of his palm and covered the whole huge ruler, making it look more gorgeous. Flames. Bite. Waves. Feet. Xiao Yang suddenly looked up to the sky and drank violently. Holding the huge palm of his hand, he suddenly swept across the huge palm of Lingtian. A wave of strange fire with a width of 100 feet bombarded the huge palm with a towering terror. Boom. An earth-shaking explosion suddenly swept away between the two fighting skills, and then followed by a wave of towering waves, sweeping all directions with the power of heaven. The bodies of Xiao Yang and the three-hall lord were blown thousands of miles away by the waves. Xiao Yang's body was forced to stop in the void. Such a powerful force made the injury that Xiao Yang had been trying to suppress suddenly break out at the moment. And only at this time can they see clearly how powerful these two moves are after the explosion. The terrible explosion raised a mushroom cloud like an ancient tree in the center. Under the mushroom cloud, the world was completely shrouded in it. Because of the strange fire, half of the mushroom cloud is a blazing flame, and the other half is darkness enough to devour the void. Xiao Yang saw this, but his heart was tightened again. With his full strength, he could only break Ling Tianju's palm. If he went on like this, he was afraid that he would really die here today. Xiao Yang's figure flashed, and Tianzibu tried his best to show it. The already little fighting spirit in his body was squeezed out. His figure flashed quickly, holding a huge ruler in both hands. He threw his strength at the third hall lord. With the peak state of the three-hall lord at the moment, almost every action of Xiao Yang is seen by him. It is impossible for Xiao Yang to bang with him. However, the third hall lord looked at Xiao Yang's crazy face, but there was a sense of banter in his eyes. Drink. Xiao Yang completely ignored the feeling of almost collapse in his body. A little dizziness came from his mind, which was forced down by him. He threw his life at the third hall lord. Hum. The lord of the three halls gave a cold hum and stared at Xiao Yang. He ignored the oncoming flame giant ruler. When the giant ruler had reached the front door and the hot breath invaded the body, the three-hall lord suddenly turned. The giant ruler was close to the front chest of the three-hall lord and fell straight. When Xiao Yang saw this scene, he immediately felt a sense of danger, but his actions were obviously beyond his control at the moment, and the Third Hall Lord also took advantage of this opportunity to slap it out and bombard Xiao Yang's chest. There was a hissing sound, mixed with several clear and audible sounds of bone fracture. Xiao Yang bowed and vomited a big mouthful of blood, and his body flew backward uncontrollably. The Third Hall Lord obviously didn't want to let Xiao Yang go. Xiao Yang hasn't stopped his body. The figure of the Third Hall Lord appeared behind Xiao Yang again and slapped him hard to meet Xiao Yang's body. Bang! With a bang, Xiao Yang's body turned around again and continued to shoot, just like a football. He kept shooting, and the blood was spitting out from Xiao Yang's mouth without money. At the moment, Xiao Yang has really reached the situation where the oil is exhausted and the lamp is dry. He can only be ruthlessly abused by the 3 hall masters. Bang! There was another bang, and Xiao Yang flew thousands of feet upside down. This time, the Third Hall Lord never came. After all, in the view of the Third Hall Lord at the moment, Xiao Yang could not escape from his palm. Since he had had enough, there was no need to continue. If Xiao Yang died, he might really be unable to explain to the above. Xiao Yang, however, was also trying to stabilize his body. His eyes looking at the 3 hall Lord were full of cruelty, but under this cruelty, there was also some helplessness. Now, I'm afraid I can't care so much. Although I don't know whether it can work, I can only try my best. He tried to resist the pain and weakness caused by his serious injury. Xiao Yang clenched his teeth and made bursts of creak. Blood continued to overflow from the corners of the mouth, but the blood-stained palms slowly accumulated strength. Then, after a few breaths, the palms suddenly grasped, and the pain seemed to dissipate in an instant. The momentum was sudden for a while. The hands closed in front of the chest, and the fingers moved rapidly, and mysterious symbols were also played. The heart reads a move, the light in Xiao Yang's eyes is suddenly shocked, and the heart also sends out a violent drink. Family pattern now. Drink. Clan pattern is now. The heart sends out a violent drink. In Xiao Yang's body, the silent 10-year-old fighting emperor's blood finally erupts again today. The mysterious ancient clan patterns reappeared in the center of Xiao Yang's eyebrows and integrated with the fire seal, which seemed even more mysterious. At the moment when the clan pattern appeared, a magnificent momentum full of vicissitudes and ancient meanings also spread from Xiao Yang's body, making the boundless sky tremble. The breath of Hungu is really terrible. Even now, it still scares the world. It can be imagined how powerful human beings in Hungu are. The purple and golden Do Di's blood vessels rose rapidly in the blood vessels in Xiao Yang's body, and a powerful and pure force gushed out of it and ran in Xiao Yang's body. In the blood vessels, the purple and golden Do Di's blood vessels also condensed into a purple and golden blood dragon in a moment. The blood dragon walked rapidly through Xiao Yang's blood vessels. Everywhere it passed, it was sprinkled with a purple and golden brilliance. This glory passed through Xiao Yang's blood vessels and integrated into the damaged internal organs and bones in Xiao Yang. In just a few moments, the bones and organs injured by the 3 hall masters have obviously recovered. The blood dragon, however, was full of momentum and flashed, and unexpectedly came to the cyclone in Xiao Yang's body. The blood dragon's rapid circling also made the cyclone in Xiao Yang's body run involuntarily. The burning formula skill runs at an unprecedented speed. Xiao Yang from the outside also looked a little changed. His eyes glanced at the turbulent energy of heaven and earth as if it were a deep-sea wave because his fighting emperor's blood was stimulated. He couldn't help passing a touch of surprise in the depths of his eyes. Is Do Di's blood so strong? Even Xiao Yang's strength can bring such a huge momentum. It's no wonder that the 8 ancient tribes paid so much attention to the power of blood. Fighting emperor's blood is really terrible. When the mind moved, the different fire in the body swept out in an instant, completely wrapping Xiao Yang in it, and all those heaven and earth energy were included in the cyclone in the body by Xiao Yang under the terrorist refining of the different fire. Just for a moment, the empty cyclone in Xiao Yang's body was replaced by the pure fighting spirit again. At this time, Xiao Yang's strength has reached the position of 4-star and half emperor, but even so, Xiao Yang's breath is still rising sharply. The rising breath also tells Xiao Yang that the end of the breath is far from here. When Xiao Yang inspired the fighting emperor's blood in his body, in a brilliant hall tens of thousands of miles away from here, the holy blood crystal condensing the fate of the whole Xiao family suddenly emitted dazzling golden light at this moment, which made the already brilliant hall shine like a glass fairy palace. In the golden moment, a figure wrapped in the black robe also appeared quietly in front of the holy blood crystal. Under the black robe, the pair of sharp old eyes also burst out a touch of amazing light. This is the blood power in the body inspired by the man, so it seems that the man may have met a great enemy. Occasionally, the man under the black robe muttered to himself in a slightly hoarse old voice. Judging by his voice, the old man was the elder who ordered Xiao Mingyuan to leave the family. However, at the moment, the elder seemed worried and inspired the power of blood for no reason. The only explanation was that he had encountered great difficulties. However, he had to stimulate the blood of the emperor in his body to ensure his safety. Old three, I still can't find that person after leaving the family for such a long time. You really have a little too much fun this time. The elder's eyes reflected a bright golden light. His eyes stared at the holy blood crystal until after the good film was carved, he whispered angrily. Someone. A low cry came from the hall, but for a moment, a dark figure appeared on the side behind the great elder without warning, with one hand on the ground, kneeling on one knee and silent. Although he was behind the elder, he seemed to be in front of the elder. He didn't pay much attention. The elder directly said, "Go find Xiao Mingyuan and tell him to find the man quickly. If you can't find him in the middle region, you'll find him in the south region. If you can't find him in the south region, then find all the regions and states for me. Anyway, you must find the man for me." A burst of angry words came out, but it made the kneeling people tremble. They also knew in their hearts that the elder was really angry this time. Dare not neglect, the man nodded slightly, then his body flashed again and quickly fled out of the hall. In the main hall, the elder stood still again for a long time, and his body gradually became illusory and quietly disappeared in the main hall. The lord of the third hall stared at Xiao Yang with both eyes, and there were amazing colors in his eyes. Xiao Yang's means at the moment unexpectedly increased his Numenon's strength by 2 stars. First there is the destruction of fire, and then there is the power of blood. If these two are excited at the same time, what a terror it will be. I'm afraid just thinking about it will make people feel cold all over. Just for a moment, Xiao Yang's strength was as weak as before, and his momentum rushed into the sky like a rainbow. One's strength can break the sky in an instant. It's even better than the remaining poison old ghost in his peak state. Xiao Yang roared up to the sky. A pillar of fire with a width of 100 feet shot out of Xiao Yang's mouth, went through the void and stabbed into the endless void, making the space fluctuate. When Xiao Yang turned his head, he saw that the pair of dim eyes had disappeared. At the moment, it was a pair of flame eyes with dazzling fire light. After a little rotation, the strange fire of Lingtian floated out of Xiao Yang's flame eyes and burned the sky. The third hall master was even more surprised when he saw this scene. How dare he let Xiao Yang continue? His body moved, and the thick black fog rippled all over his body. In a flash, it already appeared outside the strange fire around Xiao Yang. Bluff. I will bring you back to my sect today. Xiao Yang, don't try to struggle. Come and see me. Heaven Devil's palm. The third hall lord struck out with a palm, and the terrible black fog surged out. The Tianmo palm sacrificed by the third hall lord also rose again to meet the storm. In an instant, it turned into a huge palm with hundreds of feet, covering the sky and blocking the sun, and took a hard shot at Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang also glanced at the devil's palm, which he shot hard at himself, with his flaming eyes. He gave a cold hum in his nose and a sneer in the corners of his mouth, saying, "Bluff. In my opinion, this is called bluff, but it's just a waste of its appearance." Without waiting for the response of the third hall lord, Xiao Yang's body turned and his fighting spirit gushed out quickly. The different fire also spread on Xiao Yang's palm in an instant. One palm was the devil's palm that day towards the third hall lord. Yellow spring palm. A palm print the size of a human palm flew out. Where the Huangquan palm passed, the space suddenly collapsed, and a dark and profound void space appeared behind the Huangquan palm. The Huangquan palm, with Lingtian's power, blasted the third hall lord's magic palm. When the two touched each other, the Tianmo palm only supported for a few seconds. It burst in a roar, and Xiao Yang also moved at the moment. With a flash of body shape, he appeared in front of the three-hall lord and hit the front door of the three-hall lord with a fist. 8-level collapse. The flame arm covered with different fire roared past. The skinny cheek of the three-hall lord also felt a burning pain. He didn't dare to underestimate it in his heart. His body retreated violently, and one punch was to meet Xiao Yang's flame fist. Heaven Devil Fist. In the twinkling of an eye, his fists were already roaring together. Xiao Yang was suddenly shocked, and a strong force in his body suddenly poured out of his fist and roared towards the three-hall lord. Naturally, the three-hall leader was not careless. His fighting spirit poured out and gathered on his fist, trying to resist Xiao Yang's fierce and overbearing fist. However, it's a pity that Xiao Yang, who is at the peak at the moment, has far more strength than before. Relying on the strength of the 3-star semi-emperor alone, Xiao Yang can fight with the 3 halls in full swing. Now the strength is Xiao Yang, who has reached the 5-star and half emperor. Even the 3-hall lord has the strength of 8-star and half emperor to protect himself, but don't forget that Xiao Yang's physical strength is really terrible. The two complement each other. With all their strength, can the 3 temple lords compete? Drink. A mantis arm is a cart. Get out of here. 8-level collapse. Explosion. Boom. An earth-shaking roar resounded through the heaven and earth. At this moment, even the heaven and earth can no longer bind the two people. The battle between the two people is beyond the control of heaven and earth. The roar sent out, and the figure of the 3-hall lord fell like a meteorite and fell again towards the endless abyss. If you want to return, do you really think you can return? Xiao Yang's nose gave a cold hum, and his whole body suddenly shook again. Behind him, the gorgeous fire suddenly condensed. In just a moment, it turned into a pair of gorgeous flame wings. At the same time, the body of the 3-hall lord, who was still falling at a high speed, suddenly gave a meal in the air. Then he turned into a human flesh shell and rushed away 9 days away. Just looking at his appearance, he looked embarrassed. Come again. 8-level collapse. Bang. Bang. Just for a moment, the 3-hall lord, who was still fierce before, was beaten by Xiao Yang like a dead dog. He didn't know how many bones were broken, and his blood poured into the world like rain. It seemed that people felt a burst of cold in their hearts. But even so, he was still trying to dodge Xiao Yang's bombardment. Even on his twisted blood face, he showed a malicious smile, which made people feel very strange. Bang! It was another bang. Xiao Yang's fist blew the 3-hall lord thousands of miles. His body flashed again, but he appeared in front of the 3-hall lord, with his hands behind him. A pair of eyes full of bright flames also looked at the 3-hall lord calmly, and raised a sneer at the corners of his mouth without saying a word. The 3-hall lord was also covered with blood, and his body suddenly shook. The black fog that lingered all over his body was immediately absorbed into his body, and he laughed wildly, and then he looked at Xiao Yang. Jie, Yang Emperor Xiao Yang, you are wise all the time, but only today, you are confused for a while. I just ate the loss in your hand, but you ate it for the second time. In the eyes of the Lord of the 3 halls, he was murderous and tyrannical. A pair of dark old eyes were full of crazy staring at Xiao Yang and said with crazy laughter, "Oh, you've suffered a loss. I've suffered it for the second time. I don't know what to say." The light in Xiao Yang's eyes flickered, and his mouth lightly took a playful smile. With a smile on his face, he looked at the 3-hall lord and asked slowly. When the 3rd-hall lord heard the speech, his eyes looked even more rampant, as if Xiao Yang was already in his bag. Jie, Xiao Yang, do you really think that now I am an 8-star and half emperor of the Tang dynasty? How can I be suppressed like this by your 5-star and half emperor? Xiao Yang did not speak, but quietly looked at the 3-hall lord. He knew that the 3-hall lord would answer for him. You are wrong. With my strength, I dare not say I will catch you with one hand, but if I really give me enough time, I can do it. And you just gave me this time. Before the words fell, the palms of the 3-hall masters slowly lifted up, and a mysterious seal knot suddenly appeared in their palms. Looking at this seal formula, it is the mysterious soul-devouring palm played by the Yang Devil Old Ghost. Jie, this palm technique is meant to be a high-level fighting skill. Although I'm weak and can't exert it completely, if I exert it with all my strength, I'm determined not to be inferior to the high-level fighting skill. Xiao Yang, anyway, you will be planted in my hands today. When Xiao Yang heard the speech, his face still looked very calm. Is he a high-level fighting skill? He seems to have one. Moreover, if you really say it, the human-level advanced fighting skills that turn fighting skills into spirits are not comparable to ordinary human-level advanced fighting skills. With a faint smile, Xiao Yang's lost palm slowly closed in front of his chest. Once the palm turned over, a flaming fire lotus appeared in Xiao Yang's palm. Because there is no nothingness swallowing inflammation, those fused different fires have become a substitute for nothingness swallowing inflammation. In this way, the power of the Buddha anger lotus should be no less than the 4-color fire lotus of that day. And because it is a combination of a variety of different fires, in this way, it can't be said that the power of this fire lotus will be more powerful than before. When the 3rd-hall lord saw the fire lotus in Xiao Yang's palm, the originally rampant face was filled with a touch of horror. Unexpectedly, while he was calculating Xiao Yang was also using him to calculate himself, However, this thought lasted only for a moment, and was completely suppressed by the three-hall lord. On his frightened face, he regained his arrogance again. He looked disdainfully at the fire lotus in Xiao Yang's palm, raised a sneer at the corners of his mouth and said coldly, "Xiao Yang, what terrible preparation I think you have. Originally, it's just a Buddha anger lotus comparable to the low-level fighting skills of human level. Jie. If so, you will not be able to escape my hand today." Xiao Yang was still indifferent to this, and then the next moment, there was a sense of erasure in his eyes when he looked at the three-hall lord. With one palm, he pushed the fire lotus out of his hand to the three-hall lord, and said with a sneer, "I don't know until I see you. Let me see. Your advanced fighting skill, Shenming's soul-eating palm, can have some power." The lord of the third hall was very confident at the moment. He was naturally not afraid of Xiao Yang's action. He raised a sneer at the corners of his mouth. The cruel and murderous intention in his eyes quickly emerged. One palm was to display the dark soul-devouring palm in his hand and rush towards Xiao Yang's Buddha anger lotus. "Since you are so anxious to die, I will help you." The palm-sized Shenming soul-devouring palm soared rapidly in this void space. Just in a flash, it turned into a giant palm of Lingtian again and bombarded Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang doesn't care about this, but looks a little dignified at the Buddha anger lotus that has flown out. Since last time, Xiao Yang has been very clear that his control over the Buddha anger lotus can only break out before the third wave of bombardment. Even Xiao Yang in this state must not escape. Therefore, the only thing worthy of Xiao Yang's attention in the field at the moment is not the Lord of the Three Halls, nor the Shenming soul-eating palm, but the destructive Buddha anger lotus created by Xiao Yang himself. In an instant, the distance between the Buddha's anger lotus and the Shenming soul-devouring palm was no more than a few feet. Both of them were human advanced fighting skills. The void space they passed had already turned into a dark and deep darkness. The sky was also constantly trembling and roaring under the terror of the two. Within a radius of 10,000 miles, it was dead and lifeless. The Muling had already left here and disappeared. Next, he only looked at Xiao Yang and the three-hall lord. Two kinds of super fighting skills erupt together. If one is careless, although the two are strong in the Tang dynasty, they are still bound to die. Therefore, today's war depends on fate. In an instant, the sky was covered by a dazzling white orn, that is, even in the mountains and forests tens of thousands of miles away, it was illuminated by the white light and could not be looked at directly. And those people in the city felt a terrible threat. Even those who had been in high positions for a long time were creeping on the ground in fear, and the atmosphere did not dare to go out. At this time, on the side of the sky where Xiao Yang and the three-hall lord are located, there is a sudden roar through the sky, and then you see a terrible flame wave sweeping into the whole sky. Even with the strength of the three-hall lord at the moment, you can't be spared by a blow. With a puff, the blood in the mouth of the three main halls gushed wildly, and the body couldn't help shooting back. The whole person's momentum was listless at this moment. But this is not over yet. A wave of flame waves has not completely swept away, but another wave blows out again. This time, the three-hall lord really had nothing to say. The second attack was to bombard his chest again. Boom! Another wave of wildly fierce flame waves swept away, and the whole heaven and earth was in a kind of blazing heat. All forms were transformed into a vacuum nothingness. After the third wave, the third hall lord finally turned into a serious injury. As long as the last wave completely swept through, the third hall lord will completely disappear on this continent. Roar! Damn it! I'm not willing. Xiao Yang, the Yang Emperor. Today, even if I die, I must take you. Drink. With a roar, the body of the three-hall lord expanded rapidly, followed by an earth-shaking roar, and another wave of painted black horror energy swept away, pounding with the fourth wave of flame wave of the Buddha anger lotus. The 8.5-star emperor's all-out self-explosion, such prestige, is really beyond his reach. Even if the fourth wave of Buddha's anger lotus completely broke out, it was still broken by the sacrifice blow of the three-hall lord. In an instant, at the cost of exchanging lives of the three-hall masters, Xiao Yang's attack on the Buddha angry lotus was finally completely suppressed by the three-hall masters, but the sky turned into a dark nothingness for a long time. 2 months later, the southwest border, the wild ancient city. Standing outside the wild ancient city, Xiao Yang stared at the ancient city made of a whole mysterious rock from a distance. The endless flow of people went in and out of the gate like ants. When he looked carefully, he could find that these people always entered more and came out less. Are these people here for the herbalist meeting? I don't know. How strong are the herbalists here? Xiao Yang looked at the ancient city full of eternal flavor with an indifferent smile. He murmured in a low voice. His body moved and flew away towards the wild ancient city. Up to now, Xiao Yang can be regarded as fully controlling the small success of Tianjuabu wind. If Xiao Yang completely explodes his own speed, I'm afraid he will be able to meet the general 7-star and half emperor without fear. And if you meet the 6-star and half emperor, with all your strength, it's not certain that Xiao Yang can forcibly kill him. It can be seen how terrible it is that day. Just a small success in the wind can make Xiao Yang a small 3-star half emperor who can face the 7-star half emperor. What a terror it will be if he really practices this day to a great success. Step on the power of heaven and break the sky. I'm afraid this sentence is not just casual. A moment later, Xiao Yang walked among the crowd like a tide in the wild ancient city. As the medicine refining masters meeting became closer and closer, all the outstanding people from these places began to gather towards the wild ancient city. Xiao Yang will not pay much attention to these things. When Xiao Yang comes to this wild ancient city, his first task is to find the tool refiner mentioned by Luo Jin as soon as possible. In Xiao Yang's heart, he just wants to repair his mysterious ruler. In Xiao Yang's opinion, other things are not important. Of course, leaving the southern region can also be regarded as a major event in Xiao Yang's heart. After all, no matter where Xiao Yang went or how far he repaired the Xian heavy ruler, if Xiao Yang didn't have enough strength, then the collapse of the Xian heavy ruler was just a matter of time. These, however, are not what Xiao Yang wants to see. Thinking like this in his heart, Xiao Yang's pace at his feet was also a little faster unconsciously. In a moment, I came to the urban area of the wild ancient city. Here, the noise was heard all the more. Under the exploration of Xiao Yang's soul power, the general strength of the monks here is much better than that of Qingyang City. Here, the monks with the lowest strength are also comparable to Zhongzhou in the mainland. They are all in the rank of fighting the emperor. Among them, there is even the existence of Dozong. Even the Dozuan strong enough to dominate Qingyang City is still like an ordinary person here. Moreover, even the breath of fighting the saint and the strong, under Xiao Yang's exploration at the moment, there are no less than dozens of such strength, which can really be regarded as a very good force on the mainland border. In Xiao Yang's eyes, these are nothing, but if you think about them with a little heart, you can find that this is just the most barren place in the mainland. People's strength has generally reached the level of fighting the emperor, and even compared with the 3 valleys in the mainland. Speaking of the 3 valleys, Xiao Yang thought of the Burning Valley at this moment. In retrospect, his ancestor Xiao Xian had already told him that in ancient times, the Burning Valley was also one of the top forces in the mainland. Burning Valley, but it was once a strong man fighting the emperor. Although they were ignorant at that time and didn't know that the so-called fighting emperor in their mouth was only a half-emperor in Yuanwu continent, anyway, it also shows that in ancient times, the people who burned Yenggu also came to this Yuanwu continent, but now I don't know whether they can still meet them. With a sigh in his heart, Xiao Yang smiled slightly at the corners of his mouth. If he had fate, he would meet everything. Why should he be anxious? Back to his mind, Xiao Yang was about to continue to walk forward, but his body shape was abrupt, his eyebrows were also slightly wrinkled unconsciously, his body shape turned slowly, and his eyes also looked at a building beside him. This building is tower-shaped and antique. At a glance, it makes people jump out of their hearts. He who has wealth speaks louder than others. This attic is impressively built of good black iron wood. In its appearance, it has the boundary personally laid by the semi-emperor Strong. If someone really wants to break through, I'm afraid it's impossible without the real strength of fighting the emperor. The light in Xiao Yang's eyes flickered, and his eyes moved down slowly. Finally, he stopped his eyes on the plaque above the courtyard. On the plaque, there are 3 big words: Cloud Hidden Pavilion with great momentum. When Xiao Yang first glanced at the 3 big characters, his eyes were slightly frozen. Among the 3 big characters, it seemed that there was a kind of giant power. Even with his current strength, before it was small, just like an ant. This Cloud Hidden Pavilion is another behemoth. With a slight change in his look, Xiao Yang's eyes quickly moved away from the plaque, because after a little surprise, he stabilized his mood, moved his body, and strode towards the cloud-hidden pavilion. Xiao Yang felt that there might be something he needed here. As soon as I set foot in the cloud pavilion, the noisy voice outside suddenly became quiet at the moment. The cloud pavilion is like another world. Xiao Yang doesn't mind this. This kind of thing is too used to him, but the only thing he's not used to is that the light in front of him becomes dim when he steps on the cloud-hidden pavilion. Habitually slightly narrowed his eyes for a while. Xiao Yang took a deep breath and put everything in the cloud-hidden pavilion into his eyes. In reply, Xiao Yang immediately smelled a very strong smell of Dan incense. The thick smell of Dan incense even formed clouds in the air, making the cloud-hidden pavilion look like a fairyland on earth at the moment. Xiao Yang could not help rubbing his nose, but even so, he couldn't help sneezing in the end. Such a strong smell of Dan incense is really unacceptable. I really don't know how these people can bear it. Such a strong smell of Dan can be ignored. With a little emotion in his heart, Xiao Yang also ignored it. Looking around, the spacious hall has been occupied by many transparent crystal counters. The counter is also filled with all kinds of medicinal materials, and at this moment, before these crystal counters, they have been surrounded by a large number of people. This hall is also divided into medicine area and pill area. However, in Xiao Yang's eyes, these medicinal herbs and pills that can be regarded as treasures are just third-rate goods that are despised at all. Casually looked at a few eyes, Xiao Yang's footsteps moved, and he walked towards the second floor. At the entrance of the stairs, Xiao Yang was blocked by two old people in front of him. Seeing that Xiao Yang was thinking of coming here, the two old men looked as if they were going to the second floor. The eyebrows on their faces also wrinkled slightly. Then they looked at Xiao Yang. One of the old men also showed a kind smile on his face and said to Xiao Yang, "If you want to go to the second floor, please also have the strength of the strong fighter of Dozong." Xiao Yang smiled faintly. He didn't know how many times he had experienced these rules. Naturally, he was very clear. The real good things of Union Pavilion must be upstairs. Without stopping, Xiao Yang's momentum really swept out suddenly, but the breath was weaker than usual, I don't know how many times. When the two old men felt the breath on Xiao Yang, their faces could not help but change slightly, and there was a surprised color in their eyes looking at Xiao Yang. It's really the first time for them to see such a young Dozong strongman in this wild ancient city. Yes, under the perception of the two old people's souls, the breath released by Xiao Yang at the moment is really the strong man of Dozong, but this is also what Xiao Yang intends to do. After all, if he really released his real breath strength, Xiao Yang could not be sure how much sensation it would cause. Moreover, the cloud-hidden pavilion is obviously not an ordinary force, and you'd better not do it too eye-catching. However, although Xiao Yang had no intention of attracting others' attention, when he released the breath of Dozong's strong man, there were several other monks of Do Huang rank who saw that he was going to the second floor and were still mocking him. At this moment, his face looked extremely bright. And many other people, at the moment, also pay attention to Xiao Yang, the young Dozong strong man. It's not that they haven't seen the strong Duzong at this age. Recently, this is a wild ancient city. There are indeed several strong Duzong in their 20s, but they are all children of famous aristocratic families. Just saying one can make everyone feel familiar with it, but Xiao Yang at the moment seems like an alternative. Xiao Yang naturally doesn't care too much about this. He nods and smiles at the two old people. The two old people also show a kind smile towards Xiao Yang. His body is slightly sideways, and Xiao Yang gives way. Immediately, Xiao Yang lifted his feet, moved his body, stepped into the stairway towards the second floor, and his body slowly disappeared in the sight of everyone. This video will end here.